pretty good. Shit, I'm halfway antisocial right now,
Mhm.
but I woke up good. I'm about to smoke my first blunt of the morning and keep on making videos. I finished one, and I gotta make another one.
Yeah, you've been making a lot of videos lately.
Yeah, just slowly getting better, and or just figuring out how I can produce something that ain't completely shitty to my standards.
They pretty good to be honest, man. You'd be surprised how many people can't vlog.
Yep. Shit, it's pretty hard, especially with all the shit that you expect rather than all the extra shit. It's all your expectations first. So if people don't have that shit real strong, then they won't get to the other shit.
Yeah.
But I've just been getting through different phases and still with the blendedness of the information. Like, in a sense, I never just wanted to do this or wanted to do that. Or, in a sense, I wanted to do everything at 100%, but I'm only able to do it at 10%. So it's just like trying to do one thing and not have it overshadow everything else that's coming for the future. And even
Yeah.
to just yourself, because you know it's coming rather than everybody else. And as they receive it, their output or input or whatever. But yeah, everything seemed to be cool. It's just trying to get better because the only way that, or as a continuation, as I realized years ago, the only way that most of the people's information got to me is not by intention or, even if they were the guys that made lectures for education purposes and shit like that or whatever, the only way it got to me or even had a chance to get to me was if they put it out there.
Yeah.
So only way I can just get better on a totality and have a total reflection of 1,000 videos is to put it out there. So, in a sense, it's cool to like have some of the stuff from last year and see how things changed and everything else and see how even not even just necessarily simple shit, but even like my voice, I'm like, nigga, you was really halfway happy, or just different shit that you end up deciding to show, or that's why you put it off for a year, nigga. Yeah, because it was embarrassing. And then if you put it out that year, then all the people currently that you're around, then they gotta see it and make a choice on you and fucking talk type of shit. But it's just cool because I know the white women that I was seeing when I went to Bellingham each day. It was one real nice lady, and she always talked to me and shit. So I know she probably subscribed to my YouTube channel. But it's just cool to like even this piece I put up with the showering and whatnot. Like I told
Mhm.
them about that when I was going through it. I was like, look at, because I had it still on my GoPro, and I didn't have a computer or nothing like that. So just to be able to look at the totality of the videos, then decide what to put out and all this different type of stuff. Yeah, that's a lot of choices, but overall, I really, I kind of like you really don't care, but you do your best in life, and that's you caring. But sharing with people and their impressions, you can't care about because you, in a sense, you already did your best, and that's how you care about people. So it's cool, blah blah blah.
Well, happy birthday, man.
Yeah, man, I'm just trying to act like I'm happy. Because overall, I am. I'm just antisocial. So that's just how it go. It's funny. Last year, shit, I was at home this time. I had no money, just sitting around, fucking bored, and even worse off because it was a whole lot of planning shit. But like, it's funny how you reflect. At that time, probably I had less than $20 because
Wow.
I really can't remember me having $20 or some shit. Just different ways. I do remember when I went home, I wasn't even prepared, and every day I was washing the only shirt that I brought down there. I only brought like one pair of clothes for like 2 weeks. But it's like now I got just a little bit, $20. And but I got all this other comfort and all this other stuff to plan with and then all the videos to reflect on and to watch. And yeah, it's just cool how like some people from this current year, they didn't know me when I was at Brinks. So it's weird how on that first video, the first time I was recording coming down to Tacoma, I was like,
Mhm.
this ain't for you or you or you. This is for you. And it's just weird how many uses it out there that it's really for. And then all the people for the future. And then as I realized, that's what it was. It wasn't for all those yous in the current. It was all for those yous into the future. Because I'll just act like I was one of the white people in the seminar or, or at that time. I was at work and I was just like, hold on, let me go sit down with all these other white people. And that's what I did. I put on the earplugs and listened to the seminar. So it was just cool to be able to work and get paid while I was sitting down listening to something.
Yeah.
So it's just multitasking and shit, but blah blah blah. Yeah, let me as a coup de grace. That nigga say, like I needed,
There you go.
yeah,
There
like I
you go.
needed two of them. Yeah, niggas always hit it twice. Like, but yeah, man, I wasn't even gonna smoke today, but like that shit always happen where your mind be like, nigga, go ahead and smoke, and then as soon as you smoke, you like, nigga, what did you do? I'm like,
I
fuck.
mean, that's on you. That's your life, man. You make your own choices and, relax how you will.
Yeah, I ain't gonna probably ain't gonna drink today. I was gonna go to the club tonight, but probably ain't gonna do that either. I just don't feel like chancing nothing.
Just focus on you, man. Do
Yeah,
what you want to do. That's all we really aim for in life is do what we want to do anyway.
yeah, choice by choice.
Yeah.
Niggas say go this way, you be like, no, I want to go the other way. Your ass fall down, hurt yourself. Like that's what you get. We all can't wait to say that's what you get. Shit, never know.
Man, we're just doing what we can
Yeah,
to enjoy life.
shit.
Shoot.
What's up for you today?
I'm waiting on Mama to get here so I can ride with her to pick up this car and then um, return back to my damn near bunker. That's what I'm gonna call this place. And finish up on some research. I got into that program. I was able to switch colleges and stuff, but I'm like a week and a half behind. So I'm just playing catch up. But I need to file my taxes. I ain't done that. I think I'm still waiting on some. I need one more form or like I said, something. I can't remember what it is, but I'm trying to get that done too. 'Cause I need some money.
Yeah, shit. Yeah, don't wait, 'cause that's all it is. You be waiting and waiting and still be needing money. That's what I do all the time. I never do my shit on time. But it
I
be
got this
surprising
TurboTax
me.
account.
You said TurboTax?
Yeah, I got one for TurboTax and another one. I think TaxSlayer. I like TurboTax because, like, I don't have to remember no passwords or nothing. It just even if I do forget something, like it just seems like that one work best. So um, that's the one I use the most. But right now, I mean, so much of my stuff is just in a box or a bag or something. I'm like, shoot, I don't feel like digging through the stuff because once you sit down and try to do something with the government, they won't ask you about all these other forms, and I'm like, well, if I knew I was gonna get asked that, I would have brought that.
Yeah.
So, but I need to do that, and uh, shoot, just I ain't, I'm barely, I ain't even unpacked. I'm just, I'm just getting started. This year, January ain't over yet.
Yep. It feel like I've done so much in a small amount of time. Like even just clearing out my mind, 'cause how much fucking mildew last year that I found and fixed right when I
hmm
stopped working for Brinks and I came down to my storage and I had the time to look at everything. It's like I got so far ahead, you know what I'm saying? Because like
hmm
that shit was already like 2 weeks or more undiscovered. So it's like how far behind are you with catching it or catching up to the things that will be about to affect you? So in the same thought process as I was thinking before I said all this shit, I was thinking at least come across an hour each week of a new book for no reason at all. You could easily forget it and all this shit, but in different ways as a creation for no reason. What if in the future you reflected, hey, I listened to this book, this book, this book, this book, like 20, 30 books, but then you
Yeah.
could easily reflect at least an hour, you know? And although you still don't even know this or that or this, all that shit that you kind of aim out to try to know and pay attention to as you're going through life, or even just going through books for a certain reason, it could just be a reflective that could build possibly. But just different exposures. But I'm like a crackhead. I'm always go towards a book. Keep talking shit. But I'm trying to, I be finding myself like every time I think something, I gotta say it out loud so I can solidify it in the moment because it's actually
Yeah.
been done. Because you could easily think a lot of shit, But if you never share it with somebody, or at least for me, if you don't say it out loud, and the second part past that is sharing it with somebody. But if you don't do that type shit, it doesn't. For me, I can't remember it, or like it's like I'm remembering and then a using too. So it's
Yeah.
just double or some shit. But that's in a part. That's how I keep my memory. So maybe
And you
that can make
speaking it
sense.
and you hearing it. So it's twice it's going through you. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you using it. And, it's just all these different factors that you may realize when it strikes you. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's just pretty cool for it to basically all of this shit is in production. Like, and then it's weirdness because I didn't have a lot of interesting life stories, comparably speaking, compared to some people. But how many people, and is there a comparison on life thinking? Yeah, you go through life and all these experiences, but did you really think about life and different behoovements and different actions and all this shit? You never know until you really go through it. So, I don't know. I guess that's what I'm all reflective. It's weird how much it'd be like, fuck Thanksgiving. But then as soon as your birthday hit in different ways, you're like, I'm so happy. Oh, fuck, it's funny.
The only way I'd be happy, like certain holidays, I just do because it's tradition, or like I mean, like if I ain't seen people in a minute anyway, like what's the harm in it, you know? But when it comes to like personal days and stuff like this, it's more so just looking at how much this like my New Year's. My birthday is like my New Year's. I just like New Year's, the whole concept of a resolution and seeing your progress. So if it's whether it's my birthday or whether it's actual New Year's or whether it's just, anything like that, um, I like those types of moments in life because it gives me an opportunity to really reflect and try to set myself um, a standard for the future and try to obtain that because I just hate to see myself doing the same things and being in the same situation because I'm like I just feel like I'm too. Hang on, man. I gotta answer this. I'm gonna put you on hold.
Yep.
Hello.
Yo.
Yeah, I'm about to hit up about to get in this car with mom. She gonna drive me over. We finna go to Latorsha's and pick up this car. She finally got her uh, another car. Something happened to hers,
Yeah.
so we about to do that ride. So yeah,
Okay.
that's how I am nowadays, man. Just trying to stay um, stay focused on changing myself. Because if I turn, let's say I turn 40, and I haven't
Nigga,
done this
hey, hey,
solution for
hey, hey,
myself.
think about this one. Did you, hey, I know specifically what you about to say almost verbatim, but through going through life, did you hear that specifically also? Or did you just,
Hold on. That ain't what I'm finna say.
well, either way, kind of damn near answer the question. But
Let
did
me
you,
finish my thought,
but
man.
did you
What I'm
hear
saying is,
what I'm saying is, did you hear what you're about to say, or did you actually experience what you're about to say, or did you both of them?
I hear what I'm about to say. I'm experiencing, but I'm also trying to say that I I'm gonna hold myself accountable today for the actions of the future that I have when I'm older. In other words, I can't blame my 18-year-old self because that one didn't know shit. But this one, I can hold this version accountable because this one ought to know better
Yeah,
and be able
and
to
or
do
could have
something
done
about
better.
it. Yeah, you
It's
know.
just that
So I
feeling.
don't know if that
Yeah.
made sense or
No,
connect with what you
it's
were
it,
saying.
it is because it's the same thing. It's inevitable. Like that's what
Okay.
I said. Shit, or that's what I said for myself in my own quietness before I even started this or that. It's like different levels, but I had to say that to myself. And then in
Yeah.
different ways, it's what other people you realize other people said, and then they said it in their own way. And then you realize it all to me it equals up to that word behoovement. If you don't do certain things, then you can't experience it. So it just fucked up that like no matter how good we do, we still didn't do this or that, and it's just so funny. But yeah, I keep it alive so I can have fun with life in a sense.
Yeah.
I
That's
talk.
how I have fun though, like challenging myself. Like this year, I'm trying to learn how to rollerblade again, cause it's been like 20 years. Last time I rollerbladed, I was like what 6. I barely knew how to ride a bicycle.
Yeah.
So, just and I see you getting out there and you still staying active and going to skate parks and stuff, and just even though you in a totally different environment than where you started from, you're not letting your environment keep you indoors. Like keep you in a box. So
Hey,
that's what I'm trying to get to.
you want to know, like, if it wasn't for finding that trike when I did, and then actually making those actions, then I wouldn't have been able to get this far either. It was a total combination of it all. But
Yeah.
figure out a way to kind of keep moving, because that was a major thing that I reflected on, and that I couldn't. You automatically, you can't blame nobody for this part, because of irrelevant of how you ever came up and how much money you have. If you fat in the end, then partly that goes on you. Or if you're whatever you want, or if you're whatever, like inactivity or inexperience or whatever, like you realize that you have some type of experience. So in the same manner where you unknowingly or knowingly in the future gained that experience, or went that path of life, you could have easily done this. So
Uh-huh.
it's easy to make choices and find out different pathways or templates. So it's interesting. Yeah, 'cause man, shit, you never know, man. I forgot what the fuck I was about to say. Um, but I got a question for you.
I have an answer.
Um, in what way will you recommend that, or in what way do you see a change that I've made that you can reflect on that at the time you really, I guess, didn't see what it could yield or something? Or do you recognize anything that you could recommend to keep up, or just anything that you came across that unknowingly, I guess, that any of my repetition, or I guess even in the same sense, or in addition to after that, anything that I need to stay away from in the same part of learn. Because some things that you learn from action, some actions you don't take and you learn from it because it's a whole nother experience. But is there any potential on the table for that thought?
I mean, that's a big question, man. There's a lot of things that I know that you've gone through that have kind of shaped who you are, and just observing, you know, first thing that came to mind is when you had joined the military, and just the way that people were counting on you, and the fact that you took on the leadership role, that type of mentality, and I see you still doing that more so nowadays with like your cousin conversations and just continuing to reach out to people. Most people like Dante, when he in a different state, we don't hear from him. We don't, you know what I'm saying? There, he in another in another in the same city. We only hear from him every once in a while when he's just lonely, you know. But the way that you continue to use your communication skills, that's gonna take you far. That's a skill set that people pay for. And I also think that when you just give yourself an opportunity to do something, don't hesitate, because that's when you stop believing in yourself. It's kind of like when you get in the kitchen and you start experimenting and cooking, and you make some, and you taste your recipe, like, all right, this I like this. You know what you like when you're in the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? You know what flavor it is, and you don't even have to use no damn recipe. You just put it together, and people like it. And if you stop doing that, then you doubt yourself. And I want you to treat life like you are in the kitchen, where you know what you're doing, and people gonna see that flavor and they're gonna appreciate it because you actually know what you're doing, and they gonna become accustomed to it. You see what I'm saying? The world will adapt to your presence because those are the gifts that you have to offer. And the ones that like it is gonna like it, and the ones that don't, hey. But don't you sit there and discredit yourself or discount yourself because you unsure of yourself. Be confident in your leadership and be confident in your communication skills because those are the things that have been making you so successful as it is. I mean, you got to think about how far you did come compared to some of the other uncles that we got in our lives. The ones that communicate with us that's still around ain't nothing but a what 50, less than 50 or 100 miles away. You know, we hardly hear from them. You know what I'm saying? But you way out there and you focus on yourself and you doing what you need to do to set a good example for people who have less than. You know what I'm saying? And we all came from environments where we didn't see examples. So the fact that you unabashedly put your examples out there for everybody to see, that shows a lot about your character and your humbleness. So, I mean, telling you, James, keep doing that. Continue being a leader. Continue having the confidence that you do have. I mean, mind your arrogance once in a while, but continue to have that confidence, man. Communicate like you've been communicating, and if you don't do nothing else, James, if you don't do nothing else, continue setting the examples that you have. Don't be ashamed of yourself or your background. You can't be ashamed. What we got to be ashamed of? Nothing. You succeeded. You gotta look at the whole picture, not just a moment. Look at the whole picture and keep on doing that, man.
Well said.
I mean, I know what I see. I know, and the thing is, for every now and then, I catch myself thinking like you, and I like it because when you're not around, it's like, well, damn, who else gonna understand, you know? So when I catch myself having your mannerisms or quality about you that isn't really of me, I know that's you, and I'm like, damn, that's my brother. You know, that's the spirit in me that allows that's the spirit of you in me that allows me to do the things that I couldn't do if you weren't here. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So continue to do those things, man. Because when people pass away, these are the things that they remember. They remember those elements, those little qualities, those nuances. They don't remember all the. Ain't nobody gonna remember all the damn videos, but we gonna remember your character. We gonna remember your humility. You understand? And those are the things that people see on first impression. If they are really truly trying to make a connection with you, it's not hard. It's not hard at all because you 100% from day one. Now, some of them, I mean, they may not be trusting enough of people to view you that way, but you are who you are.
Yep, it's understood.
Yeah, man. I'm just talking, man. And I know I say that I'm just talking, but I am speaking from the heart. These ain't things that is just coming up because we having a conversation. They've been in existence. You see what I'm saying? Like I've already considered these things before. It's just the fact that you actually had the audacity to ask me this time. So, I ain't what I got to lie for, And it's the truth. If people can't see that about you, then, and if you can't see it for yourself, then we got to have another conversation, you and I. But for the rest of the world, I don't know them, and I really don't care what they see. It's like when police officers pull somebody out on the side of the road. The family know what they up to. That's what mama. She always say when that one girl had called you. Had called her and told her to talk about you or something like that. Mama was like, I already know my son. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, people already, we understand your character. And even if you were to mature in a way that we were unexpecting, we would still understand why you matured that way and how you got there. You see what I'm saying? So there's nothing that can be taken away from you. Everything that you are is there to mold you and rebuild you. Even the friendships and the relationships with family members that don't seem to be there, they are still there working from history that you have with them. So don't discount yourself, man, and don't worry about what nobody else thinks, because I'm telling you, man, we what we see in you has been in you, and I mean, whatever other people have to say about it, that's their problem.
Yeah, it's a fun realization.
Yeah, man. Be that strong. Shoot, I know one thing about you. You are creative, and when it comes down to it, if you gotta figure something out, you figure it out, and that's how you got into the military. I tell you that much. That's the type of mentality that saves people's lives. That's the type of mentality that creates resources where there ain't none for folks in third world countries, fourth world countries. You see what I'm saying? People wish that they had the skill sets. I wish I had some of your skill sets. And so that's why, you should just always walk with your head high. You talk about me walking, you see that one picture of me walking with my head down. That's just the way I think. I can't always think my behavior does not always reflect my mentality or what I have going on in my head. But I tell you one thing, if you feel like, if you feel like walking with your head down, you don't have you have absolutely no reason to. You need to hold your head up high because you a king in your own right. You understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
You have been through so many things, and you have to know who you are. You know, if you don't reflect on that, we're talking about reflecting about what 20 minutes ago or so. What we reflect on in life, but you have to reflect on who you are and look at the full picture of it. Don't just not just mom and dad. Don't just look here. Don't just look at the world. Look beyond the world. Look into the spiritual. Look into those aspects too, because you have a presence there as well. And sometimes it's just a question of how well is your perspective. How focused and in tune are you with it? So, man, I look at things sometimes, and I'm like, I might not be where I want to be, but I know where I don't want to be. You know, and as long as I'm not there, I'm on my way to where I need to be, or I am right where I need to be. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And I question. I'm the type when I'm not certain of something, and I do not like uncertainty. When I'm uncertain of something, I ask the whole world. I will ask everybody in the phone book. I'm telling you, until I'm for certain, because I don't like uncertainty. And I'm telling you these things about yourself with certainty. Because it frustrates me when I don't have those answers, man. So, yeah, you're doing just right. And keep your head up, right? Keep your head, your mind clear, okay? I think that's one thing you can work on. Like, we talk about pros and cons, right? Keep your mind clear. Because when we get bogged down with our status or with our income or with our projects, some of that stuff is just a distraction. This world is so temporary, man. This world is so temporary. Don't get don't get your mind cluttered with the things of this world and then miss out on preparing yourself for the next world. And I'm gonna go back to what Shauna was saying about, this go way back. You know when Shauna used to listen to Erica Badu?
Yeah.
One of them songs she listened to about, I think it's called Lifetime, Next Lifetime, see you next lifetime, something like that.
Yeah.
That's what Shauna's talking about, man. When, when the experiences that you feel like you're missing out on in this world, you're king in the next world. You just gotta keep your mind clear enough to get there. Adjust your perspective. Because everything that you see, I'm telling you, man, if you ask me when I was 19, 20, hell, if you ask me when I was 21, what I thought I would be when I was 30, or what my belief system would be when I'm 34 now, man, I would have given you the wrong answer because I didn't have the answer. It's impossible for me to know. It's impossible for you to know. But as long, and I'm telling you, because I did this, as long as you keep your mind clear and your perspective focused on the things, not the things that are right in front of you, the things that have the potential to be there, you're gonna make it. Because you're pushing yourself into your destiny. You're pushing yourself into your future. You're extending yourself to yourself. And that's why I go back to that conversation I had before I got in the car. But that conversation we had when I was getting in the car, we was talking about a conversation that you can have or that I can have with my future self to hold myself accountable today. If my perspective isn't on what I want to do or who I want to be in the near future, if that's not my perspective, if I'm not mature enough to have that conversation with myself, then I'm in the wrong. I'm harming myself by not being ready for that. Okay, so you got to be ready for that. You got to be ready to have that conversation with your older self. And I mean, before put like this, what's that angel? Okay, so there's a guy outside of the gates of heaven, or at the gates of heaven, right? And he asking everybody why they believe they belong there, right? Before you get to talk to him, before you get to talk to that one, right? That next year, you gotta have that conversation with yourself, because you gonna know, or you ought to know how you got where you are in life. Same difference when you leave this world. You still have to know how you got into that spiritual world, to that spiritual life. So don't discount that side. Don't overlook that side of things. And when I'm talking about that side of things, I'm talking about that perspective on things that you can't see today that are so important, more so important than the life that you live today. It's the perspective that allows you to affect or influence tomorrow. You got to tap into that perspective and just keep on tapping into it. If you can't figure it out, practice it and watch it come to fruition.
Got a question for you.
Okay.
Same way where one of the last times I was home, you asked me what you should do for your current job or your future or your career. Do you remember that time period?
Yeah.
All right,
I was
so
asking about it.
so
Oh yeah, I remember that.
so in what situation or what was your current mind state when you asked that question?
My mindset at that time was, to be honest, I was kind of mad at the world. I was angry. I was angry, not with myself, but with the world. I was upset with, and every now and again, I have the right to be upset with the world because I don't like what I see, not just in the mirror, not just in my bank account. You see what I'm saying? But also in my relationships, I have to look at the value that exists within them. So yeah, when I asked that question, I had already reflected on my position in life. I had already reflected on my economic status, on my bank account. I had already reflected on myself. So then the question is, if I don't have the answer, who does? So that's where my mindset was. I was angered because I didn't have the answer, and I'm looking to my network. You see what I'm saying? I'm looking to the natural world for answers that help me move through the natural world. That makes sense?
That may be a good genesis of whenever I continue to develop in a sense the origin of it all, because I don't think at the time I had started to do what I'm currently doing. But
No, you weren't there.
say again.
You weren't nowhere near yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wasn't right from there.
So it makes me reflect and think that uh nah, cause basically, I was also finna think about in the same way where you asked me that question. Okay, um, I was gonna add. Okay, so as if I asked you that question now, what would you say to me?
As far as like what I plan on doing in my career,
No. If I asked you what should I do, if I asked you the same question that you asked me back then,
oh,
what would your answer be?
I gotta okay. I'm gonna have to walk that question back because before I get to asking that question, I have to know more about you and your goals in detail. I mean, we talk on the phone, and you post videos, and I know what the big picture is, but there are a lot of details that are. I mean, you have to articulate those details. So I would ask you. First of all, I would ask you about your skill set. I would also ask you about mentors. Matter of fact, do you have any mentors? Because I remember asking Aunt Crystal that question, and Aunt Crystal, I think she might have been 20. Shoot, no, she might have been 30. She might have been 32. She might have been my age. This wasn't long ago, to be honest. This was probably like 10 years ago. 14, 30 something. So she must have been like 40. She must have been in her 40s, late 30s when I asked her this. But I asked her if she had any mentors, and she said no. She ain't never had a mentor, nobody she could look up to. She had to look up to herself, and man, that's that's on the personal level. That's with personal matters. That's not with professional matters. That's not with career goals. So whether your mentor, and I know you talk about a lot about Robert Greene, man, that's great. You got to have that. If your mentors have written down things, other people have utilized them to become successful. And James, I'm telling you, you have those resources understood. Okay, they are, and this is why I'm careful about what I read because I know that I might not be able to apply things so efficiently because there are levels to knowledge, and just because I have access to it, don't mean that I'm capable of applying it if I'm not at that level. You just so happen to have that level and also appreciate the perspective. So if you have that level, you can understand mentorship from that level. So continue to follow those things, man. So I'm gonna ask you a lot more questions, like about real mentors in your life, not just not just the intangible ones, not just the books or the videos of people, but getting you around some mentors that can influence your living world. That's what you need. And I'm telling you, if I didn't have, and I'm affected by my environment. Okay, if I didn't have the environment that I currently live in, if I didn't work hard to get it, and it's the same concept of we make our bed, we lay in it. If I didn't make my bed, then that's where I gotta start. So you should start, and this is how I would ask you rather than tell you. Are you aware of your bedfellows? Are you aware of the people in your influence circles of influence? Because those are the persons that are also shaping your environment. And I don't care what you say, everyone is affected by their environment. We're affected by the weather. We're affected by the background noise at the movie theater. We're affected by our environment. So pay close attention to your environment, okay? Because it's important that you do. don't, I can't put it in any other terms. Besides that, at the moment, I'm at loss for words. But aside from mentors and skill sets, what experiences do you have you gone through? And I know you've been through a lot. But what experiences can you rely on from your past that helped you take on the next step that you're about to encounter? Like, are you drawing from your own past work experience, or are you just jumping off a cliff? I don't recommend just jumping off a cliff. How have you prepared yourself for your next level?
All right, too easy. Step by step. Your environment and all the people you're around, each by each moment in life, aka they equal your mentors, because those are people that have direct influence on all your shit. So overall, that's understood. You come to appreciate different experiences because they draw around different people and whatever. That's just all like step by step. One thing that I do, I don't fuck with nobody. Ain't nobody around me. I ain't got no damn mentors. I fuck around with people I'm making money with, people I'm working with, just like regular. I ain't got no friends like that where I'm all extra. The way that I came up was coming up around fucking people that fucking wrote something, people that had something on their mind, people that was talking, whether they was dead or alive. So that's what I continued. And you can't fucking spark a conversation where people give you a bunch of good shit unless you're just lucky to be one of those people that receive it. But I started to realize that I was one of those people that started to give it. But overall, I started to realize the only way I was able to give it because I gave it to myself. I started to attain way before I was ever thinking of giving. So that's why I was always a template of just acquire. That's why the whole fucking point of the beginning was add more stories. That's why when I realized that overall, ain't nobody really give me nothing. They ain't give me no stories, because when I realized the whole everything of it that equaled something from nothing was just inputting all those stories. So if everything was the stories, that's what I'm on. That's what I'm on right now. I find different ways to increase my mindset and segregate myself so I can continue that while improving my life. And now I got a whole lot more options to where I can just set up. The whole time I've been around this whole area of new since the beginning of last year was to work as an apprentice to get understood with the business. Every day I ask questions so I can get understood with the business. Increasingly from that time to now, I've been able to increase my interest and increase my fucking investments and whatnot to get prepared. I've already applied for my LLC and I already got all this extra shit coming for the most part, but completely I can be as lazy as I want to and still progress. Right now, I'm improving upon all that and still getting where I need to be. And because of the the structure of option, to realize that in a sense I'm on dead ground strategy to where I'm not where I need to be, and I need to work and make sure I protect myself against a bunch of shit. And I, in a sense, basically turn it to threefold output. So when I realized the output of that was, now I got a cookie company about to come. So in a couple months I gotta pay for my LLC. All the extra shit I done in the past, I'm doing now. But all the extra shit I done in the past, that required a certain level of education and money to acquire the education. I still got to go to the future with having the money to acquire the education. So it's a whole lot of time and effort, and then a whole lot of, you gotta use your time in the current in the same way that it's gonna be past tomorrow, and benefit from it all. And then I'm acquiring and acquiring. So like it's a whole mesh of things. But overall, yeah, I don't have too many negative influences. I ain't got no mentors. I got what I would call, like, because one word can mean 20 different things. Figure out what they mean to you. So for me, a mentor means some information, some good information. If it comes from a constant source or one source, or even if it's all the sources combined, aka words. I'll be looking for words that make a difference. I'll be looking for combinations of words, and wherever they come from, that's where I'm going. So on a combination of all those words comes my output. And that's what I've been using to propel myself to understand what to do for the next moment and next moment and next moment. Because you can learn all that shit and you still got some new stuff that you possibly never done before. So with that expectancy, it's a whole lot less fear of coming in contact with the future and being successful. So overall, it's just been an easy life, and I'm just keep going. Like, so does that make sense?
It does. I'm also going to encourage you to add a synonym for mentors. The one that I use most regularly is coach. A coach is not just a mentor, it's someone who challenges you. They create opportunities for you to grow. So, um, if you can, adopt the synonym for mentor that is a coach, because when you have a person who applies strategic thinking to your situation, that's somebody that you can actually benefit from. They're strengthening you when they do that. And
Think of
I don't
this one.
mean have somebody that's gonna, have you fill out a whole bunch of forms and make you join some organization or something like that. No, what I mean is someone who has the experience or the mentality of a coach, someone who understands how to think strategically about other people's circumstances to better them. So
Hey,
think
well,
of a
think
coach
about this
as,
one.
yeah,
It's an interesting point that I keep coming in contact with. That for the most part, like I don't fuck with people like that. I ain't going to go seek out this and that. And in a sense, the way that I've been realizing that I have possibly seeked it out was by listening to different words. I don't care where it come from. I don't care where it's named. When I get to see the name and where it come from, I get to make more choices that may be tailored to my understood choices or whatever. But overall, I hear more things. So having a chance to hear more things gives me an option to know more things or whatever. So that's a big correlation right there. But um shit, I forgot what I'm about to say. You said that damn thing on
well, I'm gonna just add this to the reason I'm suggesting that you understand how coaching works is because I believe that you're missing out on the potential networking opportunities
oh,
that
and let me
coaching
say this one
provides.
too. And that's an understood point, but you some shit basically you pack away stuff. One the book that made me all my riches. I didn't even listen, or the seminar that had the book in it that I listened to make me all my riches. I collected that 4 years before I even used it. So overall, that's gonna be something that I could wish I can come upon that tomorrow, but no, I'm not. I'm gonna knowingly avoid it because that is not what I want in my life. Like especially no nothing physical. Like right now, specifically, I'm alone. I ain't finna have that around. I ain't finna be secluded. So overall, the way that I bridge the gap between nobody being around and automatically being shit out of luck with no information is to find type some information, and then overall use that information to bridge it, to talk in a sense becoming what people would call me a coach or counselor or whatever. That ain't what I'm aiming out. I'm aiming to do me and live. But overall, that's what it ended up. Basically, I am my own coach, and I'm basically after listening to all that information, my common vernacular or definition to other people that I kept saying, and then now you saying all this shit, but still it came to be, I kept listening to all this stuff, and then kept feeling like I was the person I needed to hear next because it was still felt like it was something that I needed to hear, and I didn't really know what it was or whatever, but it's just different when you start to talk or whatever, especially in a sense also when you have a heavy avoidance for different things, and then when you still find. So it all could lead you somewhere good, but it will
Right.
be, I guess, to say something that is auto because that shit's automatic. Like you don't gotta pray for somebody to come around and give you some good advice. I give it to every people every time I talk to them, type stuff. So I know in a sense it's out there, and in a sense I find it every day by going and seeking out the resources of words. So in a sense, I will do that for the future. you know,
You
yeah.
gotta be able to, well, first of all, understanding that a mentor or a coach rather is there to add to your resources. You alone can be a researcher. You can have explored the knowledge. You can. I like what you said. that you are your own mentor, but by the definition of a mentor, you cannot be your own mentor. You cannot be the mentor and the mentee. So I want you don't have to have a whole bunch of people in your circle. You could just be a person that has written several books. You don't have to get a signature or approval.
Well, think about this one. I just love the thought of some things that you come across in the world where you could have it and it's automatically gonna make your shit better. Like I don't think that anything I say is that impression, and it shouldn't be. Like do whatever the fuck you want, but in a sense, you need a mentor, nigga. Like I've gotten it's weird in a sense when you realize in the scope of things where you always realize you needed this or wanted this, but you come so far and you attain it or you get it, and it's just weird the correlations. But basically, I probably will never have a mentor, and I'm still gonna be cool. And it's just weird how I've got to this point to be cool. I don't aim to even get to this point and try not to have a mentor. But it's just certain things that you come across that you just don't like the vernacular, you just don't like this or that, or you just have an aversion to for different reasons and you automatically avoid. Everything that I say, in a sense, just because it comes out of my mouth, people may automatically avoid. But that's my blessing. That's why I always keep it all included in me and build. So it's pretty interesting. But
Okay, man. Please don't think of a mentor as somebody that you have to look up to, and
no,
please don't think of a mentor as somebody that's in your life indefinitely. A
no, no.
mentor is simply a coach. They help you get through an experience.
And
They also challenge you with opportunities. Those
oh, and,
opportunities may be long term or short term. So
hmm
don't think of it as a fixed scenario. Okay, I know you don't like being in the box.
But think about it this one. It's like my whole world gives me all that shit. And I'm when people it's just weird. Like basically I do that all day. And I have like in my own head several instances where I won't bring up because to me it's personal, but overall that's what I'm doing. That's what allows me to use in a sense the 33 strategies of war by Robert Greene. So it's been cool, and even the death ground strategy is a part of those 33 strategies. So it's a lot of things included. That's why I said the output, excuse me, the output is different from the 48 laws of power. And it's just weird how I see myself using and reflecting on different things at different times. But it's all a protective mechanism. I guess your mind is. So you can only kind of protect yourself with certain, like in a sense, loads of information when you acquire loads of information, and then a point of acquiring is a using, and then it's just all the application that builds brand new fucking extra shit that you didn't even acquire. So that's why a lot of this is solidified in different ways. But hell no, I ain't in no box. I don't like to, but I already see a correlation from the experience that I've gone through and the way I handled them to I could easily apply that person, this person as my mentor because it equals all the same things that you say. But I'm so defiant that it has to equal up with what I want to, and it's always going to be what I made it and what it is. So when you can continue all of that and acclimate it all for a positive output, it's all good anyway. Because you're still, in a sense, you're hearing it. Like if I can hear these words or whatever, then it's good. But yes, specifically, I roll what I can reflect on. Through life, I just roll with the punches. I don't seek out shit, and things is great. So I'ma continue to get better because that's how you do it. You get better and better and better. And the more opportunity you have, the more things you can go after that you really could consider. And some of the things you think you need a certain way to receive it. But that's why it's like even to receive all this information, I can receive it any time I want as long as I can hear words or as long as I can hear something. So, it's just weird the auditory of it. But yeah, just keep going. I appreciate the information because it was all I know and I practiced last time how to get you triggered to be different and to not be so annoying. But that's just interesting in a sense how I pull it out of you. Because I was listening to this other stuff that I had another conversation or whatever, and even just the current of how I word certain things, it's all to I guess it's weird how you can just think some shit and it comes out pretty good. So
Yeah.
that's what happened with this conversation. It's all to for a specific purpose of that past shit that you told me to, in a sense, in my own opinion, that you told me to basically, and what I would have an opinion about, or what I would say, get somebody for. So when I start to develop these things that even not nobody told me that I needed, But even I said I need to get somebody for a do, in a sense to me that it will equal out being attributed to somebody else. It's weird when I can equal up and be those components. And then I realize I'm those components by conversations and whole new books and all these different things. So sometimes it's weird when you're, I guess when you're enough. So, and I don't know, it's just weird ways to reflect. But all that stuff was abstract thinking. I ain't really have too much of a opinion about none of it. It was just like try to be fucking in depth with my thinking, just ask some questions.
All right, then.
But I appreciate the conversation because I think it was beneficial.
I hope so.
So yeah, I think I cried like a little bitch for a minute, I sparked up. Shit.
Happy birthday.
You too. You too. Thank you, mom. Shit, it's all good.
Yeah, man.
Shit. Just hold your composure and stay happy. And shit. And the baseline of it, if you know better, do better. Don't just let that be a slogan. And just like that boy say, I'd be stupid to just let that be a slogan. So certain things that I come across, I can't never forget. And that's why I love the power of hearing. But I like to structure and just keep going with the wave. So in a sense, you give people a chance to acquire it. And that's why I'm doing more by speaking and doing shit like that. So blah, blah, blah. We'll see what happens, but I appreciate the blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, man. We got you, man. No worries.
All right.
But hey, I'm trying this new thing where I don't say goodbye rather than see you later or something along those lines. So,
Shit. I would do like the comedians do, because all that shit's irrelevant. I'm just hang up on your ass, make you feel all shitty, and just make sure I call you tomorrow. But shit. But nah, y'all good. Shit, mama, how you feeling?
I'm doing all right.
All right. Yeah, man. Make sure y'all be drinking water, man.
Okay.
Shit. But y'all take care. I'll talk to y'all later. I'm gonna get a video out. It's already got them. It's pretty comfortable and pretty interesting, acting like I care a lot. So I'm gonna try to keep it up. But, yeah, I gotta find somewhere to eat. I'm probably go to Buddy's Chicken and Waffle off of South Tacoma Way. That shit is like a motherfucker, man. Red velvet waffles, man. When you come down here, I'm gonna make sure I take y'all by there, 'cause that shit is good. But yeah, man. I'll talk to y'all later.
All right.
All right. Thank you.